you very much. Now it's my pleasure to introduce our second speaker, Mrs. Maral EROL. She is a prominent Turkish attorney and expert in aviation and space regulation. Mrs. Maral is an experienced polyglot attorney at law, sworn translator, and lead auditor with expertise in IT, international, air, and space law. Since 2012, she has worked internationally and has been a member of the Ankara Bar Association since 2019. Fluent in more than 4 languages, she has served as Russian-Turkish sworn translator since 2022 and as the representative of Cambridge Law Studio UK in Turkey since 2024. She is also a founding member of the Tribune Space Law Commission and, since 2025, coordinator of Mars on Earth project for Russia and Turkmenistan. In addition, she lectures at the Ankara Bar Association on artificial intelligence and international law, while also serving as a lead auditor for international ISO standards since 2020. Actively involved in numerous boards and centers, including the Bar Association's Law, Informatics, Innovation, and Technology Center. She brings extensive expertise and a global perspective to today's session. Mrs. Maral Errol's lecture is titled Shaping the Skies of Tomorrow, UAM Development, Policy and Industry Ecosystem in Turkey. In this presentation, Mrs. Maral will discuss urban air mobility, UAM, as a major transformation in urban transport through the integration of eVTOL and UAV technologies into city airspace. Her study analyzes Turkey's UAM ecosystem, focusing on technological, regulatory, and economic developments. It highlights opportunities for sustainability and economic growth, while discussing challenges in infrastructure, regulation, and public acceptance. Following Mrs. Erol's lecture, there also be 10 minutes for questions, which may be sent in writing through the chat and will be managed by Dr. Thiago Dias. Please, Mrs. Maral, you can start your lecture, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. Carlos, for kindly introducing me. Let me share my screen. Do you hear me?
Yeah, very well.
Yes.
Loud and clear.
Okay, thank you very much. Now I'm sharing my screen. Is it visible?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. Again, Mr. Carlos, for kindly introducing me, and a big thank to Captain Masood for the incredible session. I would like to extend a warm welcome to all our international guests, speakers, and colleagues joining us today. It's an absolute honor to be here with you today at second Advanced Air Mobility Meeting International Edition. A huge thank to Brazilian Bar Association and especially Mr. Machado, Mr. Rattmann, Mr. Masood, Commission of Aviation of the Brazilian Bar Association. for organizing this incredible event. Your hard work and vision have made this possible, and we are grateful for the opportunity to connect, learn, and collaborate. Advanced Air Mobility units innovation, technology, and regulation, and today we are not just discussing the future, we are helping build it. So today's roadmap, we will move from definitions to opportunities, challenges, legal frameworks, and finally, Turkey's air mobility ecosystem. Before we dive into the details, I would like to start with some key definitions. This will ensure that we are all on the same page and speaking the same language when we discuss urban air mobility, eVTOLs, EASA, and related concepts through today's session. Vertical takeoff and landing. Aircraft or helicopters capable of vertical takeoff and or vertical landing. This includes rotorcraft or any other heavier than air aircraft with the capability of vertical takeoff and landing. Electrical vertical takeoff and landing. Aircraft are electrically powered vehicles capable of vertical takeoff and landing. These innovative designs do not fit neatly into traditional categories such as airplanes or helicopters. They feature unique distributed propulsion systems and are extended to operate autonomously or without any onboard pilots in the future. Many eVTOLs are designed to carry between 2 and 5 passengers or equivalent cargo. They offer significant advantages over traditional helicopters, including higher energy efficiency, low or zero emissions, and quieter operations. Unmanned aerial vehicles, an aircraft operating or designed to operate autonomously or to be piloted remotely without a pilot on board. Advanced air mobility is the broader concept encompassing new aviation technologies, including eVTOL aircraft, drones, and other advanced air-borne vehicles aiming for safe, efficient, and sustainable passenger and cargo transport. Urban air mobility, a subset of advanced air mobility operations that take place into, out of, or within urban environments. Also, I want to mention innovative aerial services, EASA, the set of operations and services that are of benefit to the citizens and to the aviation market and that are enabled by new airborne technologies. The operations and services include both the transportation of passengers and cargo and aerial operations. Innovative air mobility, the safe, secure, and sustainable air mobility of passengers and cargo enabled by new generation technologies integrated into a multimodal transportation system. Unmanned traffic management and urban air traffic management are two terms that are often used interchangeable, which can cause confusion. Unmanned traffic management manages all drones operations broadly, while urban air traffic management focuses specifically on safe and efficient air traffic within urban areas for eVTOLs and air taxis. Now, let's talk about key opportunities. While the rules and infrastructure for traditional urban transportation are well established, urban air mobility present new opportunities and challenges. These technologies are highly beneficial in connecting people, promoting a cleaner environment by lowering carbon emissions, enabling fast delivery even to remote and hard-to-reach areas, and reducing traffic congestions. However, urban air mobility require new multidimensional regulatory approaches to be safely and effectively implemented. First, let's talk about opportunities, the role of urban air mobility in sustainable transportation. eVTOL vehicles are offering cleaner, quieter, and more efficient alternative to conventional helicopters and aligning with global sustainability goals such as those outlined in European Green Deal. eVTOL offers significant advantages over traditional helicopters, particularly in terms of energy efficiency, as I mentioned before, reduced environmental impact, and noisy pollutions. Modern eVTOL systems operate with low or zero emissions, making them ideal candidates for use in urban environments and aligning closely with global sustainability goals. This benefit strongly supports initiatives like European Green Deal, which aims to make Europe climate neutral by 2050. By promoting the adoption of clean, innovative technologies in transportation, eVTOLs are positioned to play a key role in helping countries meet their emissions reduction targets, foster green mobility, and comply with upcoming sustainability regulations. The positive economic impact of urban air mobility can drive new business opportunities, create jobs, and advance infrastructure. Incentives and funding opportunities can foster local innovation and attract investments. According to Fortune Business Insight, the global urban air mobility market was valued at 4.21 billion in 2024, and it's projected to grow about nearly 14 billion by 2032. While this study focuses on urban air mobility within cities, it is part of the broader advanced air mobility. I want to mention regional air mobility. According to NASA's report, RAM can expand short-haul passenger and cargo transport at small and underserved airports, potentially serving 300 or 700 million passengers annually and reaching market size nearly 1,000 billion American dollars by 2035. This is a huge economic impact. I just talk about regional air mobility. It's a kind of different from urban air mobility, but it's a part of advanced air mobility. That's why I wanted to mention it here. The AAM, Advanced Air Mobility market, includes not only aircraft but also the broader ecosystem, passenger transport, cargo delivery, infrastructure, software, and services. Such striking projections suggest the emergence of a fundamentally new economic landscape, exemplified by the urban air mobility economy, which focused on short-range, low-altitude transport solutions within urban environments. In China, government-backed initiatives are fostering a low-altitude economy, covering all commercial and civil aviation below 1,000 meters, ideal for eVTOL. In October 2023, China certified eHang, an autonomous eVTOL, marking a major milestone in urban air mobility development. This highlights China's leadership in autonomous eVTOLs and rapid emergence of new industries, regulations, and infrastructure supporting advanced air mobility. So, what could be done to improve these opportunities? In my suggestions, education and workforce development by establish vocational high schools specializing in UAV and eVTOL technologies to cultivate a skilled workforce. Public acceptance, promote acceptance of urban air mobility through multiple measures, including ensuring that urban air mobility services are affordable and serve the public interest, integrating them effectively into the existing local mobility system, and insurance in air mobility. As eVTOLs move toward commercial deployment, aviation insurance is essential to manage financial and operational risk. Coverage must address collisions, system failures, property damage, cyber attacks, and third-party liability. In many jurisdictions, liability insurance is legally required for operators and manufacturers, including for autonomous or remotely piloted aircraft. To summarize, to improving urban air mobility opportunities, the workforce development is necessary to establish public acceptance and make a good insurance and risk management. Now we come to the tough part, urban air mobility challenges. First, I wanted to start with physical infrastructure challenges. Physical infrastructure, including vertiport, charging stations, and designed air corridors, must be developed and integrated into existing urban environments. Ground infrastructure should be seamlessly incorporated without distributing city operations. The cultural heritage and urban landscape must be preserved and protected. Delivery stations should be located similarly to current delivery points, such as mailboxes or most offices. I know that maybe most of you think that I'm making dream, but it's how I see and how we recommend. I read it on EASA suggested documents. They all suggest things like this that make me feel like it will be soon possible. So sorry for this short break. Okay, let's continue. Implement urban air traffic management. Develop a comprehensive system to manage and coordinate air traffic for emerging aerial vehicles. So now we came to digital infrastructure challenges. Digital infrastructure, particularly reliable urban air traffic management, is essential to coordinating air traffic and ensuring flight safety. So, suggested action plan: implement urban air traffic management system, develop reliable digital platforms to coordinate low-altitude urban air traffic and ensure flight safety, use AI and predictive analytics to optimize flight paths, reduce congestions, and improve operational efficiency. Assess the operational requirements and market demand for eVTOLs in urban mobility, emergency services, cargo delivery, and other applications, supporting the design and development of relevant subsystems. Promote collaborative research and develop to explore eVTOL applications and technologies. Launch pilot programs, test eVTOL operations in urban environments and specialized sectors, including cargo transport, medical delivery, and emergency responses. Legal framework and policy for urban air mobility challenges. Establishing clear responsibility and liability frameworks is just as critical as developing the technical infrastructure for urban air mobility operations. Regulatory authorities must collaborate to address operator certification, airspace rights, data privacy, cybersecurity liability, insurance, and UATM management. The lack of unified international standards complicates cross-border operations and market growth in urban air mobility. While agencies like EASA provide influential regulatory frameworks, their rules are not globally mandatory, and different countries follow their own certification and safety requirements. The regulation of electric vertical takeoff and landing technologies involves a multi-tiered framework encompassing international, regional, and national authorities. At the global level, the International Civil Aviation Organization sets worldwide standards and regulations necessary for aviation, safety, security, and environment protection. Regionally, European Union Aviation Safety Agency has developed comprehensive regulations for eVTOL. Meanwhile, the Airports Council International coordinates airport standards and planning and supports the integration of vertiports in related infrastructure. The United States, the Federal Aviation Administration regulates civil aviation, including the certification and operation. National Civil Aviation Authority in the United Kingdom and Directorate General of Civil Aviation in India, for example. Brazil's National Civil Aviation Agency advanced eVTOL regulation by opening a sectoral consultation on May 21st to discuss safety objectives for certifying powered lift level 2 aircraft between 6 passengers, max 5, nearly 5 kilogram. Russia's Federal Air Transport Agency oversees civil aviation and has introduced a dedicated airspace class for drones, eVTOLs. Turkey Directorate General of Civil Aviation regulates civil aviation and it's actively integrating drones and eVTOL aircraft into its airspace implementing system for drone registration and developing updated regulation aligned with international standards. For example, when we look to the representative case studies in urban air mobility development, we can mention Uber Elevate USA and Archer Aviation Infrastructure from Dubai. So, suggested action plan is to align certification, licensing, noisy, privacy liability, for example, to support international operations, coordinate, develop joint public-private frameworks for risk management, operational oversight, and public trust, ensure safe coexistence with manned aviation through compliant infrastructure and security measures, set clear rules for accountability in cases of system failure, collision, or property damages. The legal framework for urban air mobility and UAV operations in Turkey. The Convention on International Civil Aviation, I want to start with Chicago Convention, is the foundational treaty that established the framework for international civil aviation. It outlines the principles and rules governing the use of airspace, aircraft registration, safety, cooperation among states. Although the Chicago Convention was drafted long before the emergence of modern eVTOL, this convention sets important provisions. Article 1st, sovereignty over airspace, affirms that every state has complete and exclusive sovereignty over the airspace above its territory. This includes low-altitude airspace where eVTOLs typically operate. As a result, eVTOL operations must comply with the regulations set by the National Aviation Authority of each state. Aircraft registration and nationality, according to Chicago Convention 17 article, all civil aircraft, including eVTOLs, must be registered with a state and carry that state's national and registration marks. Articles 20 and 37 emphasize the importance of coordination in air traffic control. So when we look at the Turkey as of October 2025, Turkey does not yet have a dedicated regulatory framework specifically tailored for urban air mobility. Existing aviation laws and regulations primarily cover the traditional aviation and unmanned aerial vehicles, with only limited provision addressing emerging UAM technologies such as electric vertical takeoff landing aircraft. However, the Turkish government has introduced a strategic plan and roadmap to bridge this regulatory gap and support the safe integration of urban air mobility operations into national airspace. From Baykar's Cezeri prototype to Aircar's manned flight milestone, Turkey has built a strong foundation for its urban air mobility ecosystem through public-private collaboration, academic research and development, and alignment with international standards. Currently, Turkey remains in the policy development and pilot projects phase, as I mentioned before. When we look at the Turkish air mobility ecosystem, again, I wanted to mention the industry projection for eVTOL urban air UAV development. According to the report, Here we saw periods and what is planned to do. For example, 2025 between 2030, initial commercial rollout of passenger eVTOLs, piloted models dominate autonomous flight, gradually emerges. Progress in safety standards, vertiport development, and regulatory approvals. And after we saw what is projected to be next, examples of eVTOL applications in Turkey. For example, we can use them for cargo logistics, for urban air mobility pilots demonstration projects in Istanbul and Izmir. And this was happening. It's just an example. Emergency response, US tested for disaster relief and rescue in forest fires and earthquake zones, which is very, very important since we have a lot of earthquake here in Turkey. People say that if earthquake will happen in Istanbul, the only way to help people will through the eVTOLs, for example, because there is a lot of people living in Istanbul, and if this earthquake will happen, nobody could reach to the city. This is very important for instance, to use and implement this eVTOL in emergency response. Regulatory projects, experimental flight permits, and legal studies for future eVTOL operations. Academic research and development, Bilkent Technopark, İTÜ and Bilişim Vadisi lead research on flight safety and autonomous control. Maritime surveillance, US used for coastal monitoring and emergency response in Muğla and Aydın regions. Turkey's strategic vision for US and eVTOLs. When we start from 2023, it was planned to be top 5 in civil EF production, develop commercial EF application, launch 3 passenger eVTOL companies, achieve 60% local production of EF components. These days, our goal is to become top 3 in civil EF production, 10 commercial EF and 10 passenger eVTOL companies, launch 1 EF, Turkorn, 70% local. 2030, competitive global player in commercial passenger eVTOL platform using domestic subsystems, 80% local production, progress toward on autonomous aerial ecosystem. That's what we aim to do. EASA legislation and regulation in Turkey. The regulation of EASA in Turkey is governed by a combination of international obligations and domestic laws that aim to ensure safety, security, and effective oversight EASA operations. But as I mentioned before, there is no really regulation for urban air mobility directly. That's why I just wanted to share the current regulations. The cornerstone of Turkish aviation legislation is Law 2920 on Turkish civil aviation, which provides the primary legal framework for all civil aviation activities in country, including EASA. A key component of this law is Article 144, as aimed in 2060, specifically regulated EASA operations. Here you can see our main regulations on civil aviation. So when we look at the Turkish aerospace stars, key players in the industry, we can mention TUSAŞ, Baykar Technology, Aselsan, Roketsan, TÜBİTAK SAGE, Havelsan, STM. Many of these companies are traditional defense-oriented. but they are increasingly contributing to civilian UAV and eVTOL research. eVTOL projects in Turkey remain largely in prototype and pilot phases. For example, Baykar's Jazari flying car, with international collaborations being project specific. Thank you for your attention. That was my presentation on urban air mobility. I hope that you find it interesting.
Thank you, Mrs. Maral. Now, Dr. Tiago Dias for the questions, please.
Yes. Mrs. Maral, thanks for the presentation. And first question is, what are the key current opportunities for urban air mobility in Turkey? That's the first question. What are the key current opportunities for urban air mobility in Turkey?
Thank you very much for this question from Carlos Alberto Rattmann. Thank you very much again. I think that it is very important for emergency services, as I mentioned before, because we had a lot of earthquake here in Turkey, and I think that urban air mobility will help to reach very difficult areas to help people. I think this is the one, the key current opportunities in urban air mobility. But when we look at the good side of the life, I think that it's really useful for the traffic, because I don't know why, but these days here in Ankara, it's the capital city of the Turkey, by the way, we had a lot of traffic. We can't move, for example, to the work for 1-2 hours a day. That's a problem, I think. So urban air mobility maybe will help us. But as Captain Masood mentioned, he said that it will be for the rich people. That's why now I'm just thinking, am I really a dreamer? Because I think that everybody will have the flying car. But let's see.
And the second question, Haruna Shitu asks, what's your recommendation on the legal framework of UAM?
Yes, the question is very good. Thank you very much. But I think that it's a really multidisciplinary work, because we have to establish really good regulations on traffic management, for cybersecurity, for personal data protection, and a lot of technical issues. That is why I think that it will be very, very multidisciplinary work.
Yes. Another question, the third question is from João. João asks, what are the main technical and operational challenges for the successful and safe integration of advanced air mobility systems on a large scale?
Yes, I think this is more technical questions, but I will try to answer. If I understand question right, it's about what is the technical aspects to establish urban air mobility into our skies.
Yes.
So, okay. Yes, we have to really good establish infrastructure. We have to decide where we will charge our eVTOLs. As Captain Masood mentioned, we have to understand where we will parking them, and we need to regulate urban air traffic management through well-established rules. We need digital infrastructure to coordinating operations. And again, my answer is this is the multidisciplinary work again.
Thanks, Ms. Maral. And now I give the speech from my colleagues. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It was my pleasure. See you.
Thanks, Mr. Maral et al., for sharing your expertise and contributing to this important global conversation. Before we conclude, I would like to extend my heartfelt thanks to both of our esteemed speakers, Captain Fahad and Mrs. Maral, for their insightful presentations. And our appreciation also goes to Dr. Tiago Dias for coordinating the discussion and to all participants from around the world who joined us today. This webinar has highlighted the advanced air mobility and the technological innovation in its collaborative journey toward a smarter, more connected, and more sustainable aviation. Thank you for all for being part of this event. And now, Mr. João Machado, please.
Thank you, Rattmann. Thank you, Mahal, Fahad. We have reached the conclusion of our second Advanced Air Mobility Summit. The international dimension conferred upon this edition not only met but significantly exceeded expectations. I express my deepest gratitude to our distinguished speakers, Ms. Mahal, Mr. Fahad, whose insightful analysis and profound experience have significantly enriched our understanding of the challenges and the opportunities in advanced air mobility. May the reflections and proposals discussed here serve as inspiration for the continuous pursuit of solutions, with the firm belief that the fruits of this gathering will endure. I hereby declare the second Advanced Air Mobility Summit officially closed. Thank you very much. Thank you all for this day. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank
you.
you.
Bye.